Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video where we dive into the fantastic world of dinosaurs. And we'll do it to get to know 4 new specimens. It looks like we're seeing 2 carnivorous dinosaurs and 2 herbivorous dinosaurs here. Also, I love these little boxes, because we're going to have to use all our skills and ingenuity, since besides the figure and learning some of their characteristics, it also includes a puzzle inside that we're going to have to put together piece by piece. Look, on the back we can see all the puzzles along with their figures. In today's video, we're going to see 4 different dinosaurs. We have the Spinosaurus, the Great Stegosaurus, a long-necked dinosaur called Tanystropheus, and finally, the Great Tyrannosaurus Rex. Each one of them comes with a puzzle featuring their image, so it's going to be super fun. Let's start with the first one. We take it out, and we can already see that at the top, we have the figure, which we're going to look at now. And at the bottom, we have the pieces to assemble our puzzle. This is going to be so much fun. Remember that we're going to save the plastic to recycle it later, so let's take out all the pieces. And it looks like there are quite a few. I like it because the picture looks like it's going to be really colorful. We can already see that some pieces are in place, and at the bottom we have the name of the dinosaur. The first thing we have to do is match the pieces so we can start putting it together, but let's see. The figure of our dinosaur, as you can see, is made of hard plastic. It's a long-necked dinosaur. These will be the giants among giants. You already know that they were herbivores. They ate plants, leaves, grass, and fruit. Their bodies were so big that they needed to eat tons of food every day, and also drink a lot of water. According to experts, the brain of long-necked dinosaurs was very small. However, their heart was very strong, large, and powerful, because it had to be able to pump all the blood and send it up that long neck to reach its brain. They were also quadrupedal dinosaurs that walked on all 4 legs. This specimen, honestly, looks a lot like Brachiosaurus, but the box tells us it's a Tanystropheus. There were many different types of long-necked dinosaurs, each with its own particular and individual characteristics. Look, I already have all the puzzle pieces sorted, we just need to put them all together to see the complete picture. Some of the things we need to keep in mind when assembling it are that there are some pieces with flat sides. That tells us that this area will go on the outside, and we will also find other pieces that are rounded. Does that mean it belongs to the corners of our picture? Well, now I'm going to put it all together, and we're done. The puzzle is 100% complete and is made up of a total of 20 pieces. In the lower right part, we see the scientific name of the dinosaur, which is located in the center of the picture. Also, at the top, we can see 2 flying reptiles taking off with their large wings. We set it aside because it's time to meet a carnivorous dinosaur, the famous Spinosaurus. Let's take out the figurine to get a better look at it. Just like before, we have the puzzle at the bottom. Let's take out all the pieces first to start assembling it. We can keep the little bag to store the pieces later, so none of them get lost. It's very important to be very careful with the pieces, because if we lose any of them, we won't be able to assemble it completely. Here we have all the pieces, and we're going to take a look at the figure. The Spinosaurus is one of my favorite carnivores. It could reach a length of about 12 meters from the tip of its mouth to the end of its tail. But the most striking thing about it was the large crest of spines, which could reach more than 1 meter in length. In addition, its jaw was very large and pronounced, quite elongated and full of sharp teeth. According to experts, it was very similar to the shape of the jaws of modern crocodiles. But in the case of Spinosaurus, it was gigantic in size. As you can see, its front arms were quite long, and it used them to catch meat and bring it to its mouth. In addition, Spinosaurus was also called the sailback dinosaur, since it loved to dive into the sea in search of food. Especially when it submerged its head, it exposed this large crest of spines that looked like the sail of a ship. We'll leave it here and let's start assembling the puzzle. And now we have the puzzle put together. This is the image of the great Spinosaurus. I really like it, especially because the figure of the Spinosaurus is very colorful, just like the previous one. At the bottom, we have the scientific name Spinosaurus, and it's also made up of a total of 20 pieces. Also, now what we're going to do is put both puzzles together to see how they look together. As you can see, here we have a herbivorous dinosaur, and now we have a carnivorous one. When we have all four, we'll put them together to see them as a whole, and we'll continue with another herbivorous dinosaur. This time, it's the famous Stegosaurus. As you know, this dinosaur was characterized by the large bony plates it had all over the top of its body, which were also divided into two large rows. As you can see, they started right at its neck. At first, they were very small, but they got wider and bigger, especially in the middle. And it ended in a long, heavy tail with 4 spikes at the tip, which it used defensively, swinging it from side to side to protect itself from predators. An interesting feature is that it had larger hind legs than front legs, and that's because it needed a lot of strength to move this big tail. Also, its head was very small compared to the rest of its body. Look, such a big body and such a tiny jaw. It only fed on plants, leaves, and grass, and it lived during the Jurassic period, more than 155 million years ago. It's time to take out the pieces of the Stegosaurus puzzle. We have half the work done, since, as you can see, the pieces already come paired together in the bag. However, we still have to arrange them all to assemble the picture. Look, here we can see part of a cactus, and at the top, the sun, and now we just have to place the last piece. As you can see, it was quite simple, and honestly, I really like the picture. We can also see 2 flying reptiles in the sky, and it looks like it's in a pretty desert-like area. We see a lot of land, some cacti, and the mountains, and in the background, there's also a bright sun. Here we see the 3 puzzles together, but we still have one left to assemble. Inside, we have one of the largest predators that has ever existed on planet Earth. It's the great Tyrannosaurus Rex. First, let's look at the figure. As you can see, it's a figure that's quite small, but it has a lot of details. Some interesting features of this great carnivore. We can say that it measured approximately 14 meters in length and could reach about 6 meters in height. Impressive! Also, just its head alone measured more than 1.5 meters, and its jaw was made up of a total of 60 teeth. Another interesting fact about the T-Rex is that its front legs were very small compared to the rest of its body, and it only had 2 fingers on each of them. Also, its tail was quite long and robust, and it helped balance out its head. It was bipedal and walked on its hind legs, and it lived during the Cretaceous period, 65 million years ago. Let's open the little bag now to start building the puzzle. It also comes with a very colorful image of this great carnivore. This time, the work is half done for us too, because the pieces also come joined together in pairs. But if we want to make it more difficult, we could separate all the pieces individually. Let's start with the easy part, which is completing the name of Tyrannosaurus Rex. And now we're going to use the picture as a guide to complete the rest of the puzzle. Here we have the hind legs, and we have we need to try different pieces until we find the right one. This T-Rex is turning out to be much more difficult than the previous ones. Anyway, that's the fun part. We need to be patient, and we can even ask our friends or our parents for help. That way, the fun will be shared and guaranteed. Look, I found the pieces that make up its head, so now we have a bit more of a reference. We're almost there, friends. And now we put in the last pieces. At first, it seems difficult, but once we start putting some pieces together, everything becomes much easier. And now we have this great Tyrannosaurus Rex completed. It looks like it's coming out of this big dark cave. And now, friends, we've finished today's video. Here we have the 4 puzzles, along with the 4 dinosaur figures. The box also said that there were more dinosaurs to collect. For example, the Granulosaurus, the Triceratops, the Dilophosaurus, and the Parasaurolophus. If you enjoyed today's video and want to see more puzzles and figures like these, you can help me by giving me a super like, a thumbs up, so I know you liked it. I also invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And now, I'll say goodbye to you all. See you in the next video with more amazing dinosaurs. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm sending you a big kiss from here. See you in another video. Goodbye.